Welcome everyone to the second segment of new member orientation. In this segment, we're going to look at the Toastmasters.org website. And what that encompasses are a few things, mainly Basecamp. And Basecamp is where you sign on for a new path and where you close each project. You open and close each project, and you also close off that path. You get it approved by the Vice President of Education, and you get yourself a certificate for every level that you complete, and you get a final certificate for every path that you complete. So let's take a quick look at that. This is the main website, Toastmasters.org. You want to initially log in. If you don't have a login account, speak to the Vice President of Education. And in this case, it's a she. She will get you an account. Naglakshmi Vignesh Kumar is the Vice President of Education for Club ToastEd. So let's log into the website. It does take a few extra seconds. It's not always super fast. All right, so this is a relatively new website. It's been updated recently, and this is what it looks like. You've got Basecamp here, if you scroll down on the main page. And you've got educational programs, you've got membership information, and so on and so forth, resources and magazines. So we'll take a quick look at those, but for the most part, we're really here to look at Basecamp. So click on Go to Basecamp, and it should show you a list of those clubs that you are a member of. In this case, we're just looking at Club ToastEd. I've got a few clubs which I happen to be a member of, so the links to those clubs are there. So let's click on Club ToastEd. I think if you belong to just one club, it will just log you into that club. You don't have to physically click the link that says Club ToastEd, I think. All right, so this is essentially the Basecamp, and it's made up of tutorials, which you can look at on your own. It's made up of speech evaluations. If you evaluate some of the speech, you can upload it here for them. Not a lot of clubs use this functionality, but I think it's pretty good. So I'll leave you to take a look at that on your own. But this is what we want to look at: paths and learning, education transcript. So click on that. And this gives you a full view of things that you've signed up for, services that you've signed up for. In this case, innovative planning is one path I'm on. These are all the active paths. There's completed paths and archive. Let's look at active. Leadership development is another path that I happen to have signed up for, and persuasive influence, and so on and so forth. But currently, I'm really only on one or two paths. So let's look at leadership development. So let's click that one. Now, this is under the assumption that you've already purchased the path. If you're a new member, you get a free path, and every path after that, I think it costs $20 US. So if you haven't yet signed up for a path, we can take a quick look at that. Go to the welcome page, look at my profile. We'll go to that. This is the profile we logged into initially. And if you were going to log in, pardon me, this is my first time going through this brand new site, so I might make a few faux pas here and there. Let's try and find where this sign up is for education. You can also click on, obviously, education programs, and there's a link to Basecamp here as well. But let's see if pathways, let's click on pathways. And let's see if we can choose a path. Here it is, 11 engaging options. Now, here's select the path. How would you like to access this? You want digital resources. How would you like to select your learning path? View all path options. And let's continue here. So these are the paths you can choose. If you've selected, let's try to select. The only problem is I can't really purchase one here because I've already purchased a few, the ones that have been grayed out here. And these are the ones that I've completed, I think. But let's see if we can try to purchase one. I don't think I can. Two reasons. One, I think, yeah, let's try engaging humor. I don't think I have that one. So we'll click on engaging humor, put the blue dot here. Confirm your selection, continue. I hope it doesn't purchase it. Now, if you're a new member, obviously, you won't have to pay the $20. In this case, I would have to. And then you click next and you go through the payment order. In this case, I'm not going to do it, obviously, but this gives you an idea of how you can select the path that you want. So let's go to Basecamp. And yeah, so there, oh, this is where we were, sorry, back to Basecamp. So let's look at, there's also, I just noticed by looking at this that some of these when you click on that Basecamp link, it takes you to different pages. And this is another page that gives you options to go to the club that you're a member of. In this case, Club ToastEd. It's just doing its thing. Takes a while. And then I could go into Basecamp this way as well. And it'll take me to the same place. It'll take me to here. So let's go into, let's open the curriculum for leadership development. Now you'll see that there's 5 levels here, and then there's your path completion, your last project. For now, let's focus on level 1. And level 1 consists of a number of speeches. There's an icebreaker. It's been checkmarked here, which indicates I've completed it. There's evaluation and feedback, and there's researching and presenting. Now, there are 2 versions to this. There's the 2017 version, which only has an icebreaker, 2 evaluation and feedback speeches. This one includes two projects, and researching and presenting. So that's 4. But the updated projects, the newer projects as of 2022, include 5 speeches. Let's go to a newer path so that I can show you that. Let's try innovative planning, for example, because this is 5. Right, so level 1 has icebreaker, it has writing a speech with purpose, it has introduction to vocal variety and body language, and evaluation and feedback. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think you have to do 2 evaluation and feedback speeches. So that's 5 for a level 1. All right, now let's assume that I'm starting this from scratch, which I am. So let me do my icebreaker speech in innovative planning. I'm going to activate the icebreaker speech. And then I'm going to launch it. And what comes up is a nice introductory page. Just give it a few minutes. All right, so this is your icebreaker project. Now, you can obviously move through the project this way, or you can go page by page this way. So let's go page by page. All right, now it's up to you to go through and read these or to play these videos and so on and so forth. But essentially, this takes you through. Now, sometimes it'll do funny things like this. So if it does, just click this blue button. And it should take the page down and you can continue. So you can go through some of this documentation about the icebreaker. And as you go through each page, clicking the arrow button, sometimes you'll see a file, like in this case, project checklist. You can download this. I'd highly recommend you do. And this just gives you a quick synopsis of what the project encompasses. Right? So write your speech, rehearse your speech, and so on. And you can obviously download this file. I would highly recommend you do this and keep a nice file system for yourself. All right, so let's go. Now, usually there is a small survey, a few questions. I feel relaxed when giving a speech. Oh, maybe not so much. I understand the structure of a basic speech. Pretty much okay. I can easily identify my strengths as a communicator and so on. So go through answering these questions. And this is a preliminary start before you even begin your project. So we get to the final question, click submit. The feedback has been submitted. And now we're on to the next page. Again, a bit of documentation to go through. Now, another document, view my icebreaker speech outline worksheet. Download the icebreaker. Let's take a look at this. Another worksheet you can use if you want to. Again, you can save it. You can do some rehearsals, obviously, recording yourself, using a mirror, and so on and so forth. So some really good, important information here, I think. Let's see. Okay, and what ends up happening is you get to, as you go through all of this, by the way, if you go through this the first time, on the first icebreaker, if you ever do an icebreaker again, obviously you've read the material, you don't have to read it a second or third or fourth time unless you want to. Now, when you get to the end, usually there's often a second, here are all the documents listed, even some information on how to evaluate. Let me see, there should be, this is the evaluation resource, which is what you really are looking for here. And this is the evaluation form that you're going to print out or save and give to your evaluator. The evaluator will type their what you excelled at. They're going to type what you could work on and what you can challenge yourself with. It also gives the purpose of the speech and notes for the evaluator. You can write down your name, your date, tells you how long the speech is, the title of your speech, who the evaluator is, and so on. And the evaluator also can fill this out. You know, were you clear? Did you give good vocal variety? And they can type in some comments here as well. Once they fill this out, then the evaluator emails this to you, and this is what you use as a learning platform. You keep track of these PDF files and review them for your next speech. So each time you do a speech, it's practicing to get better and better and better using these evaluation forms. Now, there's two types of evaluation forms. There's this one that you find in the Basecamp, and there's an online version as well, and I'll show you that a bit later. I think I have so this is the last one. This is the assessment skills after you've done your speech. So once you've completed your speech, you go through this questionnaire again. And by the time you finish the last question, when you submit it, a page will come up and say you've completed your speech. And once you've completed that speech, I don't want to do this here because obviously I have not completed my speech. But once you have completed the speech, what will happen here is it will indicate, there should be a drop-down menu here that will say send in for approval or something to that effect. You know, click here for approval. In other words, mark complete. Once you click mark complete, a message goes to the VP of Education and they have to approve your speech. Once it gets approved, then officially, formally, you have completed that one project in level 1. And you have to do that for every level that you've completed, every speech you've completed. You do it 4 or 5 times, you complete one level. You do the next level 2 or 3 times, and then you've completed the second level, and so on. So as soon as you've completed each speech, you've activated them, you've launched them, you've marked them as complete, then you should be able to get a completion certificate for this level. And then you'll go to level 2 and you'll do the same thing. And level 3. When you get to level 3, This is the compulsory project. And then you go on to your elective projects. And you've got a whole number of choices here. You only need to pick one. So actually, it says minimum required 2, but if we go back here, you'll see you're supposed to do 3 speeches. You're supposed to do this compulsory speech, and you have to do 2 of the elective speeches for level 3. So you can pick any of them, right? And you'll notice that these elective speeches are similar, not the same, but similar to the elective speeches for level 4 and the elective speeches for level 5. So in this case, you have to pick 1 level 5 elective speech and 1 level 4 elective speech. Once you've completed all these and you get to level 5 and you've completed that level as well, you get your certificate. The last project is reflect on your path. And once you complete this, then you get the full certificate. So let's take a look at what these certificates look like. I'll go to one that I've already completed. So these are completed ones. Let's take effective coaching, which was the first one, path that I completed. And you'll see here for level 1, there's a check mark everywhere I've completed it. And I can now view my certificate here. You won't be able to see this certificate unless it gets approved by the Vice President of Education. So this is what the certificate looks like. It's quite nice. Achieving level 1, right? And by the time you complete the entire speeches for level 1, then you'll get a certificate for the entire. After you finish level 1, level 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll get a certificate for the entire path, which is this one. I've successfully completed the effective coaching path. And that's what you're looking for. Now, let's look at the online evaluation form. It's on a website called ToastEd. And there are all these evaluation forms for all the paths. So let's look at one for effective coaching, level 1, mastering icebreaker, right? So let's look at icebreaker. And this is the online evaluation form for the icebreaker speech. You can type in the speaker's name. In this case, it would be me. I can put in my speech title, icebreaker, or maybe it has another title. And the evaluator's name, the day that I did the speech, my email address, the email address of the evaluator, and then now they can type in, they have much more space to type in the evaluation. It's much bigger than the PDF file, right? And the evaluator can type all the information. It's the same sets of questions. You can put, you know, what level you think the person completed at, put in some notes if you want to, and then press submit. And when you click submit, it gets emailed to you, and it also gets emailed to the evaluator. So you have a digital copy of this as well. I will leave a link to these evaluation forms. There's a whole number of them for all the types of projects, level 2, level 3, 4, level 5, and so on. So either you use this form or you use the PDF form. I think that covers the base camp. That's the most important. And every time you complete a path, or you complete a level, obviously, well, when you complete an entire path, sorry, it ends up being dumped into this complete folder. So everything that's completed is in here, and everything that you're currently active working on is here. Now, there's all sorts of other things I have here, but these were little instructional videos that I found somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where I found them right now, but there's a way to be able to look through the number of courses and add them. Maybe that's something for next time. Under ePortfolio, you have a number of badges. Every time you complete a path, you get a highlighted badge here as well. So I've done 4 level 4s, so there's the badge. I've done 4 level 3s, there's the badge, and so on. So all the stuff you've done, Pathways Mentor Program, and so I've got a badge for that too. So I guess that's something you might want to do. You can also put documents here. If for levels, if you have your evaluation forms, you could always upload them here if you wanted to. Some people keep track of them here online. Some people put them on their hard drive or cloud drive. There's also a profile section here. You can add a picture of yourself if you want. And you can keep track of the dates that you have done certain roles if you want to do that too. You can just click edit and edit them. It's up to you. This is if other people come in to look at your account. They can't see all this information, but if you're in a club, you might be able to see the people who are in your club. And you can upload, if you're an evaluator, you can upload their form into their profile. I'll be honest, I haven't found a way to do that. I'm sure there is. Like here, this lady, Carrie, did it for me, and she uploaded a speech evaluation. Not too sure how she did it, but it would be nice to know. So this is a perfect example of the older type of evaluation form. And she's put some notes. The evaluator has put some notes here for me. And she's written some comments and so on and so forth. So that's good. That's an excellent example of how you can upload, how you can get into, I'm going to have to ask Carrie how she did this. I don't know how. I'll be perfectly honest. It's something that I have yet to learn. But if you ever find out, please do let us know. It must be in here, speech evaluations. No. Active listening. These are some courses that you can do. When you launch this, it ends up appearing, these little videos and instructional moments end up appearing here. And you can launch them, archive them if you want to, and so on. So, all right, so I think that's good. We're mostly done that. That's Basecamp, sure and sure. So let's take a look now at, this is the newer evaluation form, obviously. And you'll notice that obviously these are the fields I was talking about compared to the fields here, which are much larger, right? So there's that form. We can close that. We can close all these forms. Let's take a look at this website and see if there's anything else we can do. Like, I don't know, educational programs. Let's see if there's anything else. There's some tutorial videos. This is how Basecamp works. This is accessing your path. So all the stuff I'm going through now, there's International Toastmaster videos on those as well. Let's take a look at membership. There's some information you can go through. There's club meeting roles. And this kind of gives you an idea of what roles there are in a meeting and what's involved in them. So you've got a quick synopsis here. You've even got a Toastmaster script. Each of these roles have a script. Isn't that cool? And you can download this script. Isn't this nice? Let's take a look at this form. Wow, cool. This is nice. Toastmaster of the day script and checklist. Wow, before the meeting, at the meeting, when you're introduced, after the speeches, and so on. Gosh, this is wonderful. Maybe I should download all these and put them into one page for everybody. I think this is nice. And let's look at the topics, table topics master, what their role is, the script and the log for that. Oh, wow, isn't this wonderful? And this is really nice. So you can download this, take a look, see. Wonderful, look at that. A nice script you can use too. So I think that's quite ingenious. A lot of information for you. So that's under the membership section here, right? Club meeting rules. So there's all sorts of stuff you can come and look at on your own. You can even, if you wanted to start a club of your own, you can click here. Now, there's all sorts of extra things you can do. I won't go into accredited speaker or corporate clubs or Leadership Central, but I'll leave that for you to look on your own. Public speaking tips. Wow, look at this. There's podcasts. There's a video library. There's a resource library. These are podcasts. This is the Toastmasters International podcast. Obviously, the new world champion speaker has been interviewed. And all sorts of really cool things. The new leader of Toastmasters International. Really great stuff. So take a listen to these, and a couple times a week. If you want to understand about the brand international Toastmasters International branding, you've got information here. So that's it. That's it for Basecamp. That's it for Toastmasters.org. And happy surfing. Bye.